Hey, Jimmy,
What?
you want to hear a joke?
Sure, I like to hear a joke.
Alright, here goes. So a woman gets on a bus with her baby.
Right.
The driver says, "That's the ugliest baby I've ever seen."
Oh, that's not nice.
The woman goes to the back of the bus and sits down, very angry.
Well, I'm sure she would be after that.
She says to the man next to her, "Can you believe that driver just insulted me?"
My word.
The man replies, "You go up there and give him a piece of your mind."
Well, I hope she does. That was mean.
The man looked in her eyes and said, "Go ahead. I'll hold your monkey for you."
Oh, that's not funny at all. That's just horrible.
Shut up, Jimmy. You're no fun. I don't even know why I hang out with you anymore.
'Cause we're best friends.
Oh, shut the hell up. I'm going to murder some people.
Hey, Peter Bread, what you doing?
Excuse me?
Stop it!
Oh, well, hello there. It's me. I'm Nobody. Are you wanting to know the updates about Lords of the Fallen and its sequel? What changes have been made and how PvP is today? Well, you're in luck, my dudes.
If you're not here to spend, fuck off.
Dang, you're like really mean, old lady. I fired up Lords of the Fallen just for you. And I played to figure out just what has changed since, I took a break from this game. And it's been a long break. So if you want to know all that, well, join me, my dudes. We have a lot of nifty things to discuss, as well as concept art. Don't worry, I'll show it really soon. But from the looks of it, it's a decent. It's not that bad, if it's real. Let's go talk about Lords of the Fallen. And all we know about Death of the Fallen, its sequel coming in 2026. And all that. Yeah. Okay, bye. So starting off, before talking about the new patch that just dropped on December 5th, we're going to go ahead and go over the concept art. I could only find 2 images, but from the first image it looks like, a Elden Ring-ish type background. It's pretty cool looking. I like it. I'm pretty sure what they mean by a more commercial approach is they're going to do it like Elden Ring, but I could be wrong. In the second image we have Project 3 with the armor. It looks like some pretty cool Grim Reaper armor going on there. I like that. But other than that, it doesn't really show much else. As for the new update we got today, version 1.6.64, the Light Reaper's Return, Inferno Progression, and Enemy Encounters, the first change is Return of the Light Reaper. In a recent update, we removed the first of potentially 4 encounters with the Light Reaper, as the high difficulty battle just after the tutorial was observed to be confusing for new players. However, it transpired that some of our more seasoned lamp bearers missed the early challenge, and so in response to this, we have added a new option to bring the encounter back. Players who wish to face the Light Reaper earlier in the game, as it was prior to the adjustment, may now do so by enabling the increased enemy density option in the advanced game modifier system, which can be accessed when starting a new game, either through the main menu or at any vestige. So apparently a bunch of newbies were confused about the Light Reaper, whooping their ass, and then the veterans came back and was like, "Hey man, where's our Light Reaper at?" Improved enemy encounters. To improve the combat realism, we've added attack ranges and tracking for some of our enemies. Some enemies could jump unrealistic distances, potentially breaking the player's sense of immersion. Oh no, that sounds horrible. While other enemies would occasionally spin mid-attack, even mid-air, which could feel unfair or frustrating. The level of challenge remains the same following these adjustments, but we hope combat encounters now feel fairer and more realistic. Early game Inferno progression. In response to community feedback, early game progression of the Pirate Cultist class has been altered. 2 Inferno-based spells are now being granted earlier in the game through Damaros, giving players more opportunities to explore pyromancy builds early in their journey. Wasn't that nice? They also fixed a bug where the Light Reaper Echoes of Battle was unlocked too early, because you don't want that apparently. And that's pretty much it for this latest patch. I'm going to go over update 1.649 as well, because there's a couple things I want to discuss in that. But first, what about the sequel, Death of the Fallen? So what do we know so far? Absolutely nothing. There have been talks about DLCs, but there's not really any proof or definite evidence of DLCs in our future. What's going on is they're probably putting all their time and efforts into the sequel. CI Games revealed that the sequel to Lords of the Fallen has entered full production and may be ready sooner than expected. The one we have now, which is a reboot, its release was pretty horrible, with stuttering in the gameplay and PvP just horrendous. So much rubber banding. I remember just like it was yesterday. Basically unplayable. The only way to win is to pretty much cheese people. It came with a lot of bugs, and a lot of people thought that it was, unfinished, which it most likely was. From what I understand, the developers were wanting, a delayed release, but, the producers, they needed their money now, for some reason. And though the game has been improved, with a lot of updates and patches, and a lot has changed since it's been released. PvE-wise, it's a really great game. PvP-wise, not so much, but I'll get into that later. Earlier this year, details leaked about a sequel to Lords of the Fallen that has been in the works at CI Games. Reported to be titled Death of the Fallen because they put out a trademark for it. The sequel is also rumored to be aiming for a 2026 release. It was confirmed that CI Games signed a PC exclusivity deal with Epic Games, which will cause the sequel to skip Steam, basically. At least at launch. Maybe later on down the line, it'll go to Steam, but first it's going to be exclusive on the Epic Games Store, which could cause a dip in sales, unsure at this moment, but you never know. Because they use Epic Games Unreal Engine 5, so I'm guessing that's what's pushing that exclusive to Epic Games Store only. As a part of a new 2025 and 2028 roadmap from CI Games, the publisher confirms that Lords of the Fallen sequel, internally referred to as Project 3, has entered full production, and it is specified that the sequel will feature a more commercial art style, whatever the hell that means. Is it going to be like Fortnite, or just a different art style in general? I don't know. Hopefully they stick to the dark and medieval type design they still have going on for them today. I mean, I'd hate for it to change a lot. I really like this art style. CI Games also confirmed that the sequel will feature a shared progression co-op, and that it has a full reveal planned for next year. Well, that's good. For you co-op buddies out there, you can progress in real time. I really don't think we're going to get a 2026 release unless development goes super smoothly. I imagine it's probably going to be a little bit later than that. So, with the sequel looking to release in 2026, we should expect an official reveal sometime within this next year. Now, as for what we have now, I've ran through a little bit of the game to see what big changes there were, and I don't know, it's about the same. I don't see a lot of big changes, but then again, I didn't run through the whole game. Maybe you can tell me changes they made in the comments below. But they have been keeping up with updates. It's still been going on. Like the most recent update we have, the Exile Stalker starting class, has been adjusted to provide players with a light playstyle option when selecting their class. While some players prefer a heavier, more powerful combat style, they released that players preferring a more nimble approach to combat had more limited options. To that effect, the Exile Stalker is now faster and more agile, better representing the original vision for that character. They changed the parry feedback sound effect. Based on the community feedback, they've updated the parry sound effects to make them more satisfying and impactful, offering a clearer audio cues when successfully parrying an enemy's attack. Vigor pickup is now automatic, meaning you no longer need to manually collect it with the lamp. They have noticed that players were either forfeiting hard-earned vigor by simply forgetting to collect it, or felt the process disrupted the gameplay flow, which is nice. I mean, that's a good change. I'm glad they did that. Baron's Quest got an update with additional opportunities to encounter Winterberry to help prevent scenarios where the players could unknowingly fail to complete it. And that is super nice. I remember failing her quest in my first playthrough. I didn't even know she existed. And if you went up a certain elevator up to Upper Calrith before you talked to Winterberry, then, you know, Baron murdered that little cute monster girl. I don't know the locations of where she's gonna show up, but I'm glad they put more options in there so people won't actually miss that quest. Cause it's a good quest and she has a lot of good things that you can buy. The Unbridled Focus Pendant, which reduces the cost of channeling and aura abilities, now functions as intended. I don't know what it did before, but apparently it's working now. The Hush Saint got adjusted in accordance to player feedback to provide a more dynamic and satisfying melee combat encounter, retaining the same degree of challenge but with less emphasis on mounted combat. And I refought the Hush Saint to see, if anything has changed, and I guess, he still rides around on that horse, and you can't reach him. Still annoying, but apparently he does that less now, I don't know. Small bug fix ensuring poison buildup effect now works as intended. I don't know. I haven't played this game in a long time, so I don't know. And there are a lot of other patches before this I'm not really gonna get into because there's a lot. But from what I have played, multiplayer and PvE, the PvE boss battles aren't really that bad unless you're low level. When you're high level, they're actually like a piece of cake. I know that makes sense. Don't look at me like that. What I mean is, if you're a respectable level like 140, going up against the Light Reaper at his final location, he's really not that bad. He does get into his crackhead mode every now and then, and yes, you gotta watch out for that, but if you got plenty of healing items, he is beatable. Now, as for certain NPCs that you have to fight in closed off spaces, like the Iron Wayfarer and Andreas, that dick. I hate Andreas. But their fights are really fucking annoying. Pardon my French. Fudging annoying. But Andreas, he just comes out swinging and doesn't stop swinging, and he likes to parry you, and it's hard to parry him. And then the Iron Wayfarer, you get him down so far in health, and he starts spamming this weird beam of magma at you over and over until you die. It's horrible. So if you don't stun lock them with a crossbow, it's really difficult to take them down, at least at level 140. And as for PvP, well, unless you're the host, which I was not, I invaded a couple of times. It's not as bad as since the game released, but it's still pretty horrible. The connection strongly favors the host and not the invader, so what you get is kind of a half decent, half laggy experience. Sometimes you're hitting the host and you're not doing any damage at all, and then when you die, you slowly start to see his health bar withering away. And one time, the game crashed on me completely back to the main menu. It's basically still who can spam the fastest and murder each other the fastest. Because if you prolong it, I mean, you're not really going to get any hits in being the invader. And as the host, you take a chance of hitting your invader with not doing any damage because they're completely around you. It's just on your screen there in front of you. You know how that works. The rubber banding isn't so bad. I don't get much of it, but the connection is still weird. I have pretty good internet, and depending on their internet, which is if it's halfway decent, you should still be able to get a good invasion, but I have not. On the good side, invasions are pretty much instant. I mean, the longest I had to wait for invasion was maybe 2 minutes, if that. Being shared on PC, console, and Xbox, with that many players playing today, which probably isn't much, it does seem like you get invasions quite often, and it doesn't take a long time to get them. Now, if you're looking for skilled invasions where you have to, fight and actually use your skills to win, low levels is probably the best place to do that. It's like I said, 140 is like a spam contest. Or if you get those jackasses with the crossbows, you know what I'm talking about. Pretty much one-shot you, and then you're dead, and pissed off. From what I understand, it takes longer for, the Red Reaper to show up to knock you out of the umbral, so you can enjoy the scenery a little bit more. And when he does show up, he pretty much, wrecks your world and takes all your shit like a mad ex-wife. Which I'm pretty sure is what the Red Reaper was, designed as. Designed as to be a ex-spouse coming to wreck your world. Because they pretty much patched all the ways you could cheese it. And they really want that Red Reaper to come and kill you with no problems. Used to be you could cheese it just by standing on a certain ledge, but now spikes come out and shoot you right in the ass. It is a horrible experience, but if you manage to beat this Red Reaper, you get the Eye of Marco the Axe, which makes your heads turn red just like the Red Reaper, and all the little enemies in the umbral are now frightened of you. Which is pretty nice if you don't want to deal with all their shite. It does seem like the further you progress in the game, the harder the Red Reaper gets. I don't know if it's just me, or if it actually does get harder. All I know is it starts out as a manageable fight and then he turns into a total dick. Or it could be the additional Reapers that tend to try to help him murder you. Could be one of the two. Not sure at this point. Those spikes up the ass are still a little annoying. It's not like the Red Reaper is hard, it's just all the enemies around you helping the Red Reaper murder you is annoying. But that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you today. I know you've been wanting a video, and I've been wanting to make one. It's just hard because we pretty much covered everything. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And until next time, have fun, my dudes. Okay, bye.
Did you enjoy this video? Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And if you get but hurt, always remember that this is mostly jokes with a little seriousness sprinkled in between. Remember to have fun and subscribe now to join the Nobody Army. I promise you will not be disappointed. Thank you for watching, my tarnished, and we will see you next time.
Like and subscribe, or I'll deathblight you in your sleep. This message has been approved by the Mayor of Froggytown.